Dear friends, today I am going to start with a new unit in our syllabus called Morphology. Till previous lecture, I taught you phonology. We studied the topics in phonology. I request you to go through the syllabus and check whether we have finished all the topics in phonology. Only a short topic in phonology is remained, which I shall cover in this lecture as we proceed. So today we are going to start with morphology, and let us study what is morphology. First of all, let us study what is in the unit and what we are going to study in the unit. This is the screenshot of the syllabus which I have already given you. So this is the unit 3rd in our syllabus, and in this unit we are going to study structure of words, concepts of morpheme and allomorph, types of morpheme, then morphophonemic changes, phonological and morphological conditioning, word building processes, etc. I think most of you have studied this topic when you were in SYBA. In SYBA for General English Paper 2 class, those students who did their graduation in Pune University, they had a book called Linguistics and Introduction. In that book, from that book you had the first 3 units in SYBA, and in the second unit you studied this topic, morphology. But in this year we are going to study the unit or the topic thoroughly, and we shall go deeper into the concept of morphology. Yes, this is what is remaining from phonology part. In phonology we studied primary accent, correct, or primary stress. Today I shall briefly deal with secondary stress. What is secondary stress and how it is marked? Primary stress and secondary stress. In the last lecture I taught you falling tone and rising tone. Falling rising tone is also there. I shall teach you it later at some other point, because it is not very important for you. The most important tones are falling tone and rising tone, but this topic I purposefully kept aside. I shall tell you the reason why. Because once you master or once you know where to give primary tone, primary accent, you can easily mark secondary accent. Secondary accent is marked like this. Secondary accent is marked before the syllable but below it. It is marked with a short vertical line before the syllable but below the syllable. So this is secondary accent or secondary stress, and this is primary stress. Now, where do we give primary stress and secondary stress? Primary stress is given in words having more than 2 syllables. If the word is a monosyllabic word, then there is no point in giving primary stress, because there is only one stress and it is easily you can easily identify. For example, this is a word home. It's a monosyllabic word, and therefore the stress lies on the syllable that is before the syllable and above the syllable. Since there is only one syllable, the stress lies on her or home. This is how you mark primary stress. When there are 2 syllables, then also it is not necessary to mark secondary syllable. Even if you give primary syllable, it is fine. For example, building. Now, once you identify primary stress, secondary stress is understood. Building. In this disyllabic word, first syllable is the prominent syllable, hence it takes stress. So bill is build receives primary stress. Naturally, therefore, ding receives secondary stress, which could be marked like this, but it is not required. Since there are only two syllables, you can easily find out the secondary stress. Problem arises when the word has three or more than three syllables. Now, for example, in a word like this, academic. Wait. Academic. Academic. Okay, now the word has four syllables because it has four vowels in it. First, second, third and fourth. Now you have to decide which syllable is more prominent than the remaining syllables. Here, the third syllable is more prominent than the first, second and fourth syllables. Therefore, day receives primary stress. But out of the remaining three syllables, and one syllable is more prominent than the remaining two syllables, and that syllable takes secondary stress. I might be wrong in this phonetic transcription because the phonetic transcription could be academic, and then day. Please check the phonetic transcription. It should be academic. So my point is, first syllable is the next prominent syllable after day. So the first syllable is the next wait. The first syllable is the next prominent syllable after day. Day is the most prominent syllable in the word, and therefore day receives primary stress and a receives, or the first syllable receives, secondary stress. Similarly, apologetic. This word has five syllables in it. It has five vowels in it, and out of these five syllables, the fourth syllable is the most prominent syllable, and therefore it takes primary stress, right? But out of the remaining four syllables, one syllable is again more prominent than the remaining four syllables, which we have to mark. Correct? So my point is, you have to mark secondary syllable when the word has three syllables or more than three syllables. Then you have to identify primary stress and secondary stress, and you have to mark the stress. So here the second syllable is prominent, or it is the next prominent syllable after the fourth syllable, and therefore it takes secondary stress. So these are some examples where you can find primary stress as well as secondary stress. Economic, all these words have, or all these words are polysyllabic words. These words have more than three or more than three syllables in them, and in these words primary stress is also marked and secondary stress is also marked. This again, you can get mastery over it only through practice. Please refer to a good dictionary every day, and just go through the dictionary, read any page. Don't go for the meaning of the words. Try to find out new words and check their phonetic transcriptions. Try to read the phonetic transcriptions, and every good dictionary tells you or shows you the primary and secondary stress in it. Thus, you can get mastery over this. So you have words like economic, economic, 4 syllables. Third syllable is stressed. Third syllable takes primary stress. First syllable takes secondary stress. Ex, explanation, again 4 syllables. Third syllable has primary stress. First syllable has secondary stress. Thus, secondary stress is marked with a short vertical line before the syllable but below the syllable. On this slide, you just see the spellings of the words and you see the primary accent and secondary accent. Please find out the transcriptions, phonetic transcriptions of all these words. Transcribe the words in the notebook. Mark primary stress and secondary stress. They are already given to you on this slide, and send it to me on our WhatsApp group. So this is the next exercise for you. Find out the phonetic transcriptions for these words. Mark primary accent and secondary accent and write it in your notebook. So I shall give you another word. For example, examination, 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 examination. 5 syllabic words. 4th syllable takes primary stress and first syllable takes secondary stress. So do this homework and send me the picture of the solved exercise on the WhatsApp group. Now let us start with morphology. What is morphology? Morphology is the branch of linguistics. Like phonology, morphology is also a branch of linguistics. What is linguistics? Linguistics studies language. So linguistics is a scientific study of language. But what does linguistics study? Linguistic studies or linguistic has several branches. The first branch is phonology. We have studied phonology. Phonology deals with speech sounds, or phonology studies speech sounds of a particular language. And morphology studies words. So morphology studies words and word formation processes. How words are formed and structured. How words come into being in a language. How words are transformed, etc. So morphology basically is a study of words and word formation processes. Word is the most fundamental unit in a language. That is, we know that alphabets, there are 26 alphabets in English, or there are 44 sounds in English. We can combine the alphabets in English or the sounds in English in such a way that we can form a meaningful word out of it. So, word is the fundamental unit or basic unit in a language. But words are formed with the help of alphabets. When you think of writing, words are formed with the help of alphabets. Or when you speak, or when you consider speech, words are formed with the help of sounds. So sounds are combined in a specific way, specific manner to create a meaningful word. Words come together to form a phrase. Phrases make clauses and clauses make sentences. So this is the hierarchy. And word is the basic element in the hierarchy, the first element in the hierarchy. So morphology deals with words. Morphology studies words. Now let me explain what do I mean that words are combined to make, alphabets are combined or sounds are combined to make meaningful words. Alphabets or sounds are arranged in a specific way to form a meaningful word. So, you know that this word has meaning. That is, you take an alphabet or you take a sound B, B, A, and T. So, out of these 26 alphabets or 44 sounds, you choose specific alphabets and specific alphabets or sounds. You arrange them in a particular order and then you create a meaningful word. You know that this word is possible in English, but this word doesn't have any meaning. Suppose you say that no, I shall create such a word in English. I shall take A first, then T, B, and atb. I would say atb. No, there is no such word in English, and we cannot form such kind of word. Such kind of word cannot be produced in English because there are rules which we will see later. So, that is possible, but if you move or if you shift these alphabets in this order, and if you say that ATB is a word in English, no, ATB is not a word, or atb, no, this word is not possible in English. So my point is, you cannot take liberty in choosing any alphabets or any sounds in English, arrange them in in whatever way you like and make a word. There are certain ways, there are specific manners in which you can make a word, and you can say, you can create this, but this will not have any meaning in English. This has meaning in English. As soon as I say bat, or as soon as I write BAT, you understand what I am talking about. But if you say ATB, if you write ATB, or you say at, the readers won't understand you. The listeners won't follow you. So, morphology studies word formation processes. How words are formed into English. What are the processes of forming words? Whether new words are possible, or we have to follow the tradition and we have to follow the words which have already been created. That we will study in morphology. Then, this is an example, read, reader. As soon as you see this word reader, you know that this word is formed, or the basic word you know. As soon as you see a word like reader, or you see a word like beautiful, you know that beautiful is not the main word, it is created from some other word. Reader is formed from another word called read. So, for every word you have to know the basic word in it. Unless you know the basic word, you cannot understand the derived word. This is a derived word, or this is a created word from this word. You can understand derived word only when you know the main word or the root word. So, morphology studies how words are created, what are the word formation processes, how words come into being. In short, morphology studies words. It is a science of words. Now, let us go ahead. Wait. So, information that a word provides. So, what does a word provide you? Word provides you meaning, but words provide you meaning on different levels. First is phonetic or phonological information. The word gives you phonological information. That is, every word should be writable and should be speakable. You should be able to write the word and you should be able to speak the word at the same time. There are only a few languages in the world where the languages don't have written script. Those languages have only spoken form. But for English, we have phonological expressions, or we have written forms and we have spoken forms of the word. So every word is associated with a certain sequence of sounds. So words are formed with the help of alphabets when it comes to writing, but when it comes to speech, they are combination of certain sequence of sounds, as we saw earlier. So there is a certain sequence of sounds, and then these are sounds which are arranged in a sequence, and thus we get a meaningful word. So every word is associated with a certain sequence of sounds. Second is morphological information. Every word provides you morphological information. Every word has an internal structure in it, which sometimes we inherently know. We know that the word, as we saw earlier, reader. In that word, we know that reader is not the main word, is not the basic word. The basic word is read, from which reader is derived. Similarly, when you come across a word like reads, he reads a book. In this word also, you know that the main word is read and S is attached to the verb, and thus you get the word read. Similarly, invitation is made up of invite and ation. So these are the parts of a word. Invitation is a word, but it has two parts, invite and ation. Thus, invite is the root word and ation is attached to the root word. Similarly, read is the root form, and s is attached to read. Thus, you get the word reads. So, every word has internal structure in it, and sometimes we know it, sometimes we have to find it out. Every word provides you grammatical information. That is, every word fits into a definite slot in structure of phrase, clauses and sentences. So, for example, this is my bag. This is my bag. This is my a bag. This sentence is grammatically not accepted. This sentence is grammatically incorrect because my bag is a phrase in English. So before a noun, you can add a possessive pronoun. So you can say my bag, you can say his bag, you can say her bag, my car, her car, etc. You cannot move the place of possessive pronoun after the noun. You cannot say this is bag my. No. This is my a bag is also wrong. Or you cannot shift my after bag in the first sentence, and you cannot say this is bag my. No. Word orders are also fixed in English. You have to follow the word order, then and then only you can create a meaningful sentence. In this example, the word order is followed. So you have subject, then verb, and then object. My bag is the object. Even in my bag is a phrase because it is formed with the help of two words. In this phrase, this word always comes before this, or possessive pronouns always come before nouns. This you have to understand. Then and then only you can create meaningful utterances or meaningful expressions, meaningful sentences. Such a sentence will not be accepted in English. So, words are used to make sentences, but again you have to follow certain order to make a sentence. If you break the word order, then the sentence will be grammatically incorrect. You cannot put words as per your choice. You cannot put words in a wrong sequence and you cannot create a meaningful sentence. In order to create a meaningful sentence, the sequence of words should be correct. It should be right. That is also studied in phonology. What is a right expression and what is an inappropriate or unaccepted expression. Then, words also give you information regarding collocations and idioms. We know that certain words occur with certain other words. That is called as collocation. Certain words go with certain other words and there are patterns of co-occurrence of words. That is, certain words occur in the company of certain other words. For example, a handsome man is an accepted phrase, whereas a handsome woman is not accepted. You have to say a beautiful woman. So beautiful goes with feminine gender. Beautiful goes with woman or girl. Handsome goes with man or boy. This is called as collocation. That is, certain words are used with certain other words. Now you might ask why handsome woman is wrong. It is not wrong, but it is inappropriate. Nowhere in the dictionary you would see that handsome woman. No dictionary tells you or says that handsome woman is wrong. But a dictionary would tell you that handsome man is appropriate, whereas handsome woman is inappropriate. That is, the native speaker use handsome with man, masculine gender, and they use beautiful with woman. Beautiful is not used with man and handsome is not used with woman. So what is appropriate and what is inappropriate, what is accepted and what is unaccepted in a language regarding words is also studied in morphology. So words give you information regarding several things, or words inform you on several layers, on several stages. Now, identifying the parts of a word. How to find out parts of a word? Suppose you come across a word like this, unfriendly. Again, you know that unfriendly is created in this manner. So you take a word called friendly, you attach un to it, and thus you get the word unfriendly. But again, you know that friendly is formed with two other words or two other parts of words. So you have friend and then you have ly suffix. You attach friend or you attach ly to friend and thus you get friendly. Then you attach un to friendly and you get unfriendly. This is the sequence of forming the word unfriendly. You cannot say that I shall take un first, then I shall take friend, unfriend, and then I shall attach ly to it and then I shall create unfriendly. No, that is not the procedure, that is not the process of the formation of the word unfriendly. So The process of formation of unfriendly is this. First you have this word friend, to which you attach ly suffix, and thus friendly. The word friendly is formed. To this word you attach another prefix and you make negative of friendly, unfriendly. So identifying the parts of a word is also important factor in morphology. When you see a word, when you come across a word, you should be able to identify the root word, and then you should be able to explain how the given word is formed, how the given word is created. For example, unhappiness. So it has three parts: unhappy, and then you have ness. So the basic word is happy, to which you attach a suffix first, and thus you create the word happiness. Once happiness is created, then you attach a prefix to it and you create negative of happiness, unhappiness. So this is the word formation process. This is how you identify the parts of the word. As soon as you see this word, you know that it has three parts: unfriendly. Maybe you may not, you don't understand the structure of the word immediately, but you find out the three parts in the word immediately. Then yes, now in morphology, the smallest unit is morpheme. As in phonology, the smallest unit is phoneme. In phonology, the smallest unit is phoneme. What is phoneme? Phoneme is the smallest sound unit in a word which cannot be further divided. If replaced by another phoneme, then it creates a minimal pair. So, for example, bat, if you replace b by k, you get a totally different word. So, b and k are phonemes. That is, the word could be divided into three sounds. Bat could be divided into three sound segments such as b, a, t. But you cannot further divide these sounds b, a and t. They are the smallest sound segments in the language. And another criteria is, if you replace one sound by another, you get a totally different word. So if you replace b by k, you get cat, you get the word cat. Similarly, if you replace a with a, suppose you decide to replace this sound a, and if you replace it with a, you get the word bot, which is again a different word, different from bat, bat or bat. Thus, in phonology, the smallest unit is phoneme. Similarly, in morphology, the smallest unit is morpheme. What is a morpheme? Morpheme is a meaningful unit that cannot be further divided. In morphology, morpheme is the smallest unit or the smallest meaningful unit of a language that cannot be further divided. For example, in, come and ing, forming incoming. This word is formed with the help of in, come, come and ing. So, incoming is formed with the help of three morphemes: इनकमिंग हा शब्द 3 मॉर्फिम्सनी बनलेला आहे. कोणकोणत्या? इन, IN, इनला स्वतःचा असा अर्थ आहे का? आहे. कम हॅज ऑल्सो इट्स ओन मीनिंग, इट कॅन स्टँड ऑन इट्स ओन. ING doesn't have meaning on its own, but if it is attached to a content word then it provides you meaning. ING ला स्वतःचं असं अस्तित्व नाही. नुसतं मी इंग म्हटलं किंवा ING लिहिलं, no meaning is realized. But if I attach ING to play or ING to any verb, then it creates some meaning. So what is a morpheme? Morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of a language that cannot be further divided. आता कम तुम्ही फर्दर डिवाइड करू शकाल का? नाही. तुम्ही कम मग असं लिहू शकाल COME, पण मग तुम्ही हे काय लिहिताय? तुम्ही अल्फाबेट्स लिहाल, अँड अल्फाबेट्स डोंट हॅव मीनिंग. नुसते अल्फाबेट्सना मीनिंग आहे का? काही नाही. When these alphabets are combined in a specific order, then they create some meaning. किंवा मी जर अशा पद्धतीने साऊंड्स लिहिले तर त्याला काहीतरी अर्थ आहे. मी जर हा साऊंड सिक्वेन्स बदलला तर त्याला अर्थ नाही. मी जर हा साऊंड सिक्वेन्स परत ब्रेक करायचा प्रयत्न केला तर मी फोनॉलॉजिकल लेवलवर जाईन. मी फोनिम्स शोधून काढेन. मी काय म्हणेन? क, अ, म. पण नाही. आपण मॉर्फिमची डेफिनेशन पाहतोय. मॉर्फिमच्या डेफिनेशनमध्ये काय आहे? तर स्मॉलेस्ट मीनिंगफुल युनिट of a language that cannot be further divided. So in short, every word or every root word, basic form of the word is morpheme. जसं की हे मॉर्फिम नाही आहे, इनकमिंग हे मॉर्फिम नाही आहे. कारण का? त्याचं डिव्हायडेशन पॉसिबल आहे. इन, कम आणि ING. पण इन तुम्ही परत डिवाइड नाही करू शकत, कम परत डिवाइड नाही करू शकत. जसं की मगाशी आपण बघितलं की अनफ्रेंडली हा वर्ड आहे, पण त्याच्यात 3 मॉर्फिम्स आहेत. हे परत तुम्ही नाही डिवाइड करू शकत. तुम्ही जर हे डिवाइड करत बसला फ्रेंड, तर तो मिनिंगफुल पार्ट राहत नाही. आपली डेफिनेशन काय सांगते? मॉर्फिम इज मिनिंगफुल युनिट ऑफ अ लँग्वेज. इट शुड हॅव सम मिनिंग टू इट. अनला काय मिनिंग आहे का? तर अनला तसं बघितलं तर काहीच मिनिंग नाही. अन इंडिपेंडंटली मी नुसतं अन लिहिलं तरी काहीच अर्थ होत नाही. पण अनला एक वेगळा अर्थ कसा आहे? तर अन क्रिएट्स निगेटिव्ह मिनिंग वेन अटॅच टू अ वर्ड लाईक धिस. अनफ्रेंडली, अनइंटेन्शनल, अनहॅपी, हॅपी, अनहॅपी. मग अनचं फंक्शन त्या वर्डमध्ये काय आहे? तर टू मेक निगेटिव्ह वर्ड फॉर हॅपी, म्हणून अनहॅपी. म्हणून अनला तसा अर्थ आहे. सो द वर्ड इनकमिंग हॅज 3 morphemes. इट हॅज 3 morphemes in, come and ING. The morpheme is, हा पॉईंट बघा, the morpheme is the smallest part into which a word can be divided. In other words, a morpheme has no parts. मॉर्फिमला तुम्ही डिव्हाइड करू शकत नाही. मॉर्फिम म्हणजे काय असतो? रूट वर्ड असतो, बेसिक वर्ड असतो की जो तुम्ही पुन्हा त्याचं डिव्हायडेशन करू शकत नाही. इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. नाव देर आर 2 types ऑफ मॉर्फिम्स, फ्री मॉर्फिम्स अँड बाउंड मॉर्फिम्स. इम्पॉर्टंट आहे पहा. मॉर्फिम्स विच कॅन अकर बाय देमसेल्व्स ॲज वर्ड्स आर कॉल्ड फ्री मॉर्फिम्स. मॉर्फिम्स जे थोड़कैत जो अपने बलबूते पर खड़े रहते हैं उन्हें फ्री मॉर्फिम्स कहते हैं. मॉर्फिम्स विच कैन अकर बाय देमसेल्व्स, विच कैन स्टैंड ऑन देयर ओन, आर कॉल्ड एज फ्री मॉर्फिम्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हेल्प्स हैज़ अ फ्री मॉर्फिम हेल्प अँड अ बाउंड मॉर्फिम एस. हेल्प्स या वर्डमध्ये किंवा प्लेइंग या वर्डमध्ये पण काय आहे? प्ले हे फ्री मॉर्फिम आहे आणि ING हे बाउंड मॉर्फिम आहे. इथलं उदाहरण बघू या पॉईंटमधलं. हेल्प्समध्ये हेल्प हॅज अ फ्री मॉर्फिम हेल्प अँड अ बाउंड मॉर्फिम एस. Thus, bound morphemes cannot occur by themselves. They must be bound with a free morpheme. Bound morpheme are dependent morphemes. They cannot occur by themselves. They cannot stand on their own. ते स्वतः उभे राहू शकत नाही. त्यांना कोणाच्या तरी मदतीची गरज असते. कोणाच्या तरी मदतीशिवाय ते इंडिपेंडंटली राहू शकत नाही, जगू शकत नाही. त्यांचं स्वतःचं असं अस्तित्व नसतं. दे मस्ट बी बाउंड विथ फ्री मॉर्फेम. शेवटची ओळ बघा. दे मस्ट बी बाउंड विथ अ फ्री मॉर्फेम. ज्यावेळी ते फ्री मॉर्फेमला अटॅच केले जातात त्यावेळी मात्र ते एक वेगळा फ्लेवर त्या वर्डला देतात, एक वेगळं मीनिंग त्या वर्डला प्रोव्हाइड करू शकतात. पण नुसतंच मी आय एन जी म्हटलं किंवा आय एन जी लिहिलं तर त्याला काहीच अर्थ होत नाही. नुसतं एफ यू एल लिहिलं, नो मीनिंग टू एफ यू एल. बट वेन आय ॲड एफ यू एल टू ब्युटी, then I get a new word called beautiful, which is an adjective. Beauty is a noun, but I could create an adjective through noun by adding ful to it. So ful is bound morpheme, beauty is free morpheme. म्हणजे बघा, तुम्ही कोणतेही वर्ब घ्या, जसं की प्ले घेऊ आपण, गो घेणार तुम्ही. प्रत्येक व्हर्बचे 5 प्रकार असतात किंवा प्रत्येक व्हर्ब 5 प्रकारे वापरता येतं. जसं की हे मेन व्हर्ब आहे. या मेन व्हर्बला आपण एस किंवा एस जोडू शकतो. आय प्ले पण ही प्लेज होतं. प्रत्येक व्हर्बला आय एन जी पार्टिसिपल लागतं, बरोबर. प्रत्येक व्हर्बचं पास्ट टेन्स होतो आणि प्रत्येक व्हर्बचं पास्ट पार्टिसिपल होतं. इथं पास्ट टेन्स आणि पास्ट पार्टिसिपल सेमच आहे. पण गो, सपोज मी गो एक्झाम्पल घेतलं तर गोला एस पार्टिसिपल लागतं थर्ड पर्सन सिंग्युलर सब्जेक्टसाठी. तसंच गोला आय एन जी पार्टिसिपल ही लागतं. गोचा पास्ट टेन्स होतो वेंट आणि गोचं पास्ट पार्टिसिपल होतं गॉन, राईट. तर प्रत्येक व्हर्ब हे 5 प्रकारे वापरता येतं. 5 प्रकारे वापरताना तुम्हाला प्रत्येक वेळी काय जोडावं लागतं, एक बाउंड मॉर्फेम जोडावं लागतं. बाउंड मॉर्फेम जोडल्याशिवाय तुम्हाला त्या व्हर्बचे 5 टाईप्स, डिफरंट 5 टाईप्स मिळतच नाहीत. तर बाउंड मॉर्फेम्स जरी डिपेंडंट असले, दे हॅव अ स्पेशल फंक्शन टू प्ले, दे हॅव अ स्पेशल रोल टू प्ले. जसं की इथं बघा, affixes, stems and roots. Let us analyze the complex words cited above in their. हे नको, हे काय वाचू नका, हे नका वाचू. हे बघा, disallow फॉर एक्झाम्पल. disallow या वर्डमध्ये काय आहे, डिस हे बाउंड मॉर्फेम आहे, अलाउ हे फ्री मॉर्फेम आहे. म्हणजे disallow या शब्दामध्ये डिसअलाउ या शब्दामध्ये डिस हे बाउंड मॉर्फेम, अलाउ हे फ्री मॉर्फेम, इंडिपेंडंट मॉर्फेम. डिझायरेबल, डिझायरेबलमध्ये डिझायर हे फ्री मॉर्फेम, एबल हे बाउंड मॉर्फेम. काइंडनेस, काइंड फ्री मॉर्फेम, नेस बाउंड मॉर्फेम. अनॲक्सेप्टेबल, ॲक्सेप्ट हे फ्री मॉर्फेम आहे, अन आणि एबल हे दोन्ही कसले आहेत, बाउंड मॉर्फेम्स आहेत. तर आजच्या लेक्चरमध्ये आपण मॉर्फॉलॉजीची बेसिक इंट्रोडक्शन पाहिली आणि बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स काही आपण पाहिल्या, जसं की मॉर्फेम, फ्री मॉर्फेम, बाउंड मॉर्फेम, हाऊ वर्ड्स आर फॉर्म्ड. त्याच्यानंतर व्हॉट डज अ मॉर्फेम टेल यू, बरोबर. आपण इथं बघितलं ना, हां, वर्ड्स कसे तयार होतात किंवा वर्डचं बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर कसं आपण आयडेंटिफाय करतो. देन वर्ड्स गिव यू इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट सेव्हरल थिंग्स, की मॉर्फॉलॉजिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन देतात, ग्रॅमॅटिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन देतात, फोनॉलॉजिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन देतात. तसंच वर्ड्स कॉलोकेशन आणि इडियम्ससुद्धा आपल्याला कळवतात, की कुठलं एक्सप्रेशन करेक्ट आहे आणि कुठलं एक्सप्रेशन रॉंग आहे हे सुद्धा वर्ड्सच्या सहाय्याने कळतं. हँडसम बॉय करेक्ट आहे, पण हँडसम गर्ल रॉंग आहे. कशामुळे रॉंग आहे, त्या फ्रेजमधल्या हँडसम या वर्डमुळं. हँडसम डज नॉट गो विथ गर्ल ऑर वुमन. तर हे सगळे पार्ट्स आपण आज पाहिले. टुडे वी स्टॉप. आय शॅल कम अप विथ next part in morphology and I shall deal over it. Morphology doesn't take much time. Morphology हे युनिट शिकवायला फार वेळ लागत नाही. In 3 to 4 lectures I shall finish teaching morphology. सेकंड युनिट टेस्टला मॉर्फॉलॉजी हे युनिट अभ्यासासाठी असेल. I shall ask you questions on morphology in the second unit test. Similarly, I shall ask you questions on syllable, then what is primary syllable किंवा त्याच्यावर कसले क्वेश्चन्स असतील तर एक्झाम्पल्स देऊन आय शॅल आस्क यू टू फाइंड आउट प्रायमरी ॲक्सेंट, सेकंडरी ॲक्सेंट. आय शॅल आस्क यू टू मार्क टोन ऑन द सेंटेन्स ॲटसेट्रा. तर फर्स्ट युनिट टेस्ट नंतर जो काही सिलेबस मी शिकवलेला आहे तो सिलेबस सेकंड युनिट टेस्टसाठी असेल. Soon the exam for second unit test will be declared, so be prepared for it. We stop here today. Thank you.